automation adoption is on the rise. What's going on? We get an explanation today from Brian Reinhart, VP Sales US with Hai Robotics. Hello, Brian.
Hi, pleasure to be with you.
And with you. And indeed, that is the undeniable truth that automation adoption is clearly on the rise. What are the primary drivers of that in your estimation?
Yeah, you know, it's a common question in the industry these days, and I think the snap response from everybody is labor. Shortage, too expensive. But really the truth is, it's almost like if you remember the George Clooney movie, The Perfect Storm, where the boat's on the ocean getting hit by waves from every which direction. That's what it's like to run a warehouse these days. Mm-hmm. It's not just labor, it's space utilization, it's order accuracy and efficiency, it's market demands on response time and delivery times. You know, what used to be a 3-day delivery window is now 1 day. What was 1 day is now same day. Mm-hmm. And so it truly is kind of a combination of all those different factors, putting more and more pressure on warehousing facilities. And what we're seeing these days is most people are turning to automation as the solution to those problems.
Mm-hmm. A solution, maybe not the solution ultimately in the short term, but certainly something that can help.
Absolutely, you know, some combination of solutions, right? There's things you can do in the short term, what we call low-hanging fruit issues, where a particular piece of automation or island out of automation, an operational upgrade can take care of those. But long term, I think what you're really looking for is a sustainable environment within the warehouse with which your facility can grow and maximize its efficiencies.
I just wonder if there's any particular part of the warehouse where it's a particular need. Now you just gave me the perfect storm reference, and that's like saying which part of the fishing boat is most in trouble, which I realize is a bit of an absurd question, but I'm asking you which part of the warehouse maybe, if you can tell me, is most in need of help right now.
Yeah, these days it's kind of your traditional pick, pack, and ship type operations, right? From a storage perspective, really maximizing density is a pretty easy one to tackle. It doesn't really require a lot of labor, a lot of hands, but really anywhere an operator is involved these days is an opportunity for improvement. And so that's what I'm talking about, your e-commerce fulfillment centers, your omni-channel fulfillment centers. Those are processing really high volume orders and require a lot of operator activities. So if we were going to send a lifeboat out there, that'd be the area I'd direct it.
Okay, so I'm wondering though, what would be your message to a company, obviously dazzled by all of these automation opportunities and in fact compelled to examine them. What is your message to a company interested in automating today?
Yeah, and I think you used a great word there, dazzle. You come to the trade shows, you go to the YouTube or companies' websites, it's easy to get enamored with a particular technology that seems like a silver bullet to solve all your problems. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is that rarely is kind of one technology or one solution an end-all be-all. And so what I would recommend to any company, any end user is first, take an internal look at yourself. Understand your business, your operation, your data, your pain points, and from there, that'll help kind of narrow the field a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because there's going to be certain solutions, certain technologies that are really geared to fix a certain type of issue. But if what you're just saying is we're inefficient or we have problems, then it's going to be very hard to pinpoint one for you. Mm-hmm. So, again, I think learning yourself first is really the first step to identifying the corrective action when it comes to automation.
And then of course figuring what might be your ROI, what might be your expense, because you do have an upfront expense here. You've got to be able to justify that.
Oh yeah, there's some mechanical baseline requirements to any type of automation investment. Things like ROI, scalability, future opportunity for growth. Can it fit in the footprint of our warehouse? You want to find a partner that's going to help walk you through all that, make sure that you're checking the necessary boxes, while also keeping that long-term vision, in mind.
Okay, so we understand and we agree that automation is a big deal and it's being adopted at a very rapid rate by warehouses. But where do you see the industry heading in, like, let's say, the next 5 years?
To the sky, right? The sky's the limit. I think what's really interesting about the industry is that there's a lot of emerging tech out there when you talk about business intelligence, AI, Internet of Things, things like that have really made other industries more improve and more kind of advanced. And so things in automotive or manufacturing, or like I mentioned, the tech industry, and now they're coming to warehousing and distribution and order fulfillment. And so what you have currently is good brains on advanced equipment. But if we put that next generation, that next level brain inside the warehouse, all we're going to be able to do is maximize those efficiencies even more, to the point where, ultimately there's a lot of folks that think 3, 5, 10 years, you'll have operator or humanless warehouses. Now,
Lights out warehouses.
lights out warehouses.
That
Now,
is the end goal here.
I mean, I think if you can justify it financially and get to the point where the technology is efficient enough, it becomes a reality. I don't know about 100% lights out personally. I still think there's going to be certain operations where a human can provide value over automation. But if you can, re-maximize or eliminate, the vast majority of that kind of labor overhead, then you're talking about a really efficient, scalable operation.
Well, thank you, Brian, for that look at just where automation is going in the warehouse today and tomorrow, in the next 5 years. I really appreciate your insights. I'd like to take a moment, though, to turn and talk a little bit about Hai Robotics specifically. Where do you guys fit into the picture?
Absolutely. So we're new to the US market. We came over in April of 2021, but Hai Robotics was founded in China back in 2015, really with the corporate vision of making lives better through robotics. Pretty broad, right? So how we're doing it really is starting within the warehouse and identifying kind of inefficiencies in the landscape. So there's a lot of technologies out there that are very, very fast or very, very dense. There's some that are very, very mobile. But what we found is that the combination of all those really doesn't exist out there. So we're bringing a robotics platform to the market that we've coined autonomous case handling robotics. And the goal really is to find that kind of sweet spot in the middle, that Goldilocks zone, if you will, where we're achieving top level density, top level speed, but also a flexibility and minimal invasiveness to the existing warehouse to allow rapid deployment and ease of use for the customers. So that's ultimately our goal. As I mentioned, we've been here about 7 months. We have great partnerships established and great backing from our Chinese headquarters. So, the future's bright for Hai Robotics.
Well, great. Well, Brian, thanks so much again for talking about the future of robotics and a little bit about Hai Robotics specifically. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I've been speaking with Brian Reinhart of Hai Robotics. Thank you very much for watching.